don't forget to record this. Oh, look at that. It's another episode.
Wow, these weeks come around quickly.
Yeah, I felt like just the other day that we did an episode. Well,
it's just the
you guys are looking
day.
so fresh. Are we going to do rate the week?
Normally from week to week, I can't remember what my rating was for the week before. Somehow this week I can remember it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably because we pre-recorded this episode. The Easter
don't
episode.
Give it away. No, we didn't.
Oh,
don't let on, man.
Well, come on.
We didn't do that. I mean, if that were true, then we'd be wearing the same clothes as before. So yeah, I mean, I think your option is flawed here.
Yeah.
But I will ask.
Absolutely.
So last week we talked about whether, we'd caught up on Drive to Survive. Oleg, have you caught up yet?
Yeah, actually, it was amazing. So much time has passed. All 3 seasons are done.
3 seasons.
This is what happens on a long weekend, right?
Yeah.
You got time off.
No, you're putting me on the spot. No, I didn't catch up. Yeah.
Oh, come on!
I didn't catch up, but I'll do my best by next week.
Yeah, crack the whip, baby. Crack the whip.
So, guys, yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
How was the week?
Amazing. I mean,
Yeah, I'm going to give myself a good rating this week. I mean, it's it's holiday weekend, long weekend.
Yeah. Any plans?
Yeah. Well, we had 20 degrees on. For us, it's warm on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because we're coming out of winter, we're now in spring, so it was like hitting the dizzying heights of 20 degrees on Tuesday, and now this weekend it's cold again.
How cold
and
are we
apparently
talking about?
it's colder in the UK than it is in Russia.
Wow.
Which part of Russia? Not Sochi, I would
they
imagine.
don't really go into that. Colder than Siberia? Really?
Yeah, they didn't specify Siberia.
They didn't say, what's that? That's
Southern
that
part.
holiday destination on the
Sochi.
south.
Sochi.
Yes.
Yeah. I only know that because of Formula One.
Well, and
About
the Olympics.
Yeah. So in Drive to Survive, one of the drivers says to his engineer, he says, no, I was thinking of going cycling. And his engineer says to him, no, I don't think it's a good idea. I went cycling yesterday and I got arrested. So he's like, really? Like, what did you get arrested for? And he says, like, I happened to cycle into a military zone. They took my passports.
Oh, yes.
Check it.
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
And,
like you can't speak Russian. Well, not all of us have that problem.
It's a bit of a giveaway.
Yeah.
Just have your cell phone when you do it. It's like Google Translate.
Duh.
I drink vodka.
So what would you say? What would you say if you got stopped in Russian? Like you said, hey, what are you doing here? You would go.
In terms of what? Like
speak Russian. What did you say in Russian?
Всем привет.
What does that mean?
What'd you say about his mother?
How's it going?
How's it, bro?
Yeah. Anyway, I put him on the spot there.
No. Like, but realistically, what you need to say is, you're just going to liquor store.
Go to a liquor store.
Yeah.
Vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's breakfast time.
And what vodka would they drink there?
Different types. Okay. Definitely not Stolichna.
Not Stolichnaya or whatever it's called. Stolichnaya.
Stoli.
Is that the cheap men's drink?
I think it's like affordable, like base level.
Okay.
Stuff. It's a good base level option.
So basically, all the vodkas that we get off the shelf here, it's like crap.
Yeah.
All the crappy ones. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, so Easter weekend. I mean,
it is Easter. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, how many Easter eggs have you got?
Are you talking boxes of marshmallow eggs?
Oh, jeez. So I got a message the other day from my uncle to say, like a picture, to tell me that the marshmallow Easter eggs are on special at Pick and Pay.
He's like tempting you. He's like tempting you.
He's
like
the word is out.
Yeah, the word is out. That's the scary part.
People know.
People know that I have a problem.
Yeah.
What am I going to? I'm going to go to Marshmallow Eggs Anonymous soon.
No, I think when you go and browse the internet, those banner adverts that come up. Are yours all beacon? Just saying. I mean, that would be a
know?
sign, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, dude. I won't go into the details of my problem that I have, but let's just say that I happened to buy one the other day.
Like one what? Like one box?
One box.
Crate?
No, well, you saw the box, right?
One container.
Dude, the next day it was done. It was done.
Yeah, to be fair, they don't spend a lot of money in the construction of that box. It's not firm. It's not there to be opened and closed repeatedly.
No.
It doesn't last. They know. Once you open it, it's probably going to stay open.
Yeah, but
For
they've
like
also
5
made my
minutes.
problem seem a little bit more of a problem this year than previous years. And the reason for that is because they've got 12 less eggs in the box now.
You serious?
What?
Yeah.
They're shortchanging you
Whoa!
like that.
Breaking news! What the hell?
Yeah,
Scandal!
scandal. And they came out at the same price that they were last year. So every year they come out and they probably go up by $10 a box per year,
Yeah.
right? So this year they stayed the same price. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Finally, these oaks are now not
The
ripping
fact
us
that you
off.
remember the price from a year ago worries me.
Yeah, well,
In fact, you most likely can resuscitate. Well, not resuscitate. He can recite the price range over the last 10 years.
yes, maybe. I can neither confirm or deny. So, yeah. So they used to have 48s. They've only got 36 now in the box.
You know.
Yeah, it's like the Coca-Cola thing.
Yeah.
You know, they drop it from 340 to 330,
and then
and the price stays the same.
Yeah.
Then they go from 330 to 300, whatever it is.
Do you think you'll get to the stage like there's going to be only 12 marshmallow eggs in the box?
Maybe one day.
I'm looking at my local South African shop online where they've got a clearance sale on marshmallow Easter eggs from Beacon.
Well, all I can say is before you tell me.
24.
Oh, I was going to say.
And it's the same price as last year.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is, at least we can confirm, if it's a clearance sale and there are 48 in a box, then you know for sure that that's last year's stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they've got a 2-for-1. So you're actually getting 2 boxes of 24, which could be a box of 48. Normally when they have clearance sales, because the lifespan of these marshmallow Easter eggs is quite long.
Well, that last box that I had, they were a little bit stale.
You serious?
Yeah, they weren't as... So the box lasted a little bit longer than it normally would because they weren't as yummy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
So instead of like 5 minutes, it lasted for 10.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Magnitude
The
of...
packaging is harder to rip open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lose settle.
Yeah, so I told you my daughter said she's going to buy me one of those cookie jars that's got a timer on it.
Yeah.
That it only unlocks
At certain time.
Yeah.
Like once
Only
a
open
year.
on
Once a
Easter.
And
year.
then you can only take one. You can't take like a whole handful. 'Cause
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
do you
what's
know how
that
many of those
monkey
eggs
trap?
I can fit in my hand? Anyway, talking about Easter, I mean, do you guys know what the origin of Easter is?
well, other than the Christian sense.
Well, I suppose, I think with a lot of these holidays, there's always there's the sort of religious Christian aspect to it, but a lot of it's also pagan because they've, like all these different, like the Christmas of the year, the Halloween of the year, and Easter, they actually were celebrated actually before the sort of Christian aspect came into it.
How come?
Summer solstice.
Oh, well, I don't know. They just like sort of, so like the whole thing is that Easter normally falls on, so it moves every year, right?
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because it falls on the first Sunday after the first full moon following the equinox, but it's the spring equinox, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they forgot about us Southern Hemisphere people when they were working this
There's
out.
no pagans in the Southern Hemisphere.
Well, in the summer, it's autumn in the summer, the Southern Hemisphere, not spring. You know what I mean? Anyway, so like the Christian and the non-Christian sort of elements have continued to blend together over the last, centuries and whatever, and that's why a lot of these holidays have got two aspects to it. One is the Christian, one is is a sort of pagan thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you'll notice a lot of these sort of things like Easter and Christmas and all that have got to do with the sort of change in the seasons. And so they say that since the days following the winter solstice gradually becoming longer and less dark, it was like an ideal symbolism for the birth of the light of the world. And I suppose this is where the whole Christian thing eventually came in. So Easter falls like close to this proximity of this sort of equinox thing. And spring also means, sort of like the plants are starting to bloom and the trees.
Rebirth.
Rebirth. Yeah, from the, and also in the animal world as well, because like as it becomes spring, animals are coming out of hibernation and all that kind of stuff. But they say that the actual naming of the celebration, Easter, they think goes back to sort of like pre-Christian goddess in England.
Yeah.
You're falling asleep. I'm telling you a story and you're falling asleep.
No, it's the change in time zones.
Maybe you set your clocks back or forwards or something.
Yeah, I always get screwed over by the clock changes.
I mean,
it's only an hour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's growing up in South Africa, we never changed clocks. We were aware of the rest of the world changing their clocks, and we didn't faff around with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then moving to the UK, it happens twice a year. And every year, twice a year, I go, well, what's the point? Because it always messes me up. I mean, nowadays it's easier because all the clocks change automatically on all your electronic devices and your car. You don't have to faff around with it. But what's the point? Is it still needed? I mean,
I think in UK,
different parts of the world change clocks at different times. It's not even like the whole world changes the clocks on the same day.
So in Ukraine, they also changed the clocks, and but I think they've changed at the equinox. So they change it
on the 20th.
On the 20th, yeah.
No, but Canada also changed.
Canada also changed.
Yeah, they also changed quite early.
Like
when is your change? When does your change happen in the UK?
It happened.
On what day?
It happened last weekend.
Yeah, what date is that? It's the end of the month.
27. I think it's the last weekend of the month. It happens.
So I'm playing YouTube videos now. Fuck. Oops. Sorry. I was asked not to swear anymore by my mom.
Yeah,
my dad says to me, like we digress a little bit. My dad says to me, geez, you swear quite a lot on the podcast. I said, Dad, that's like the kettle calling the pot black.
Your dad swears while listening to you on the podcast.
What the fuck is he talking about? Look at him, he's fucking swearing all the time. Anyway, right, so going back to Easter. Because you digressed and you were complaining about your time zone changing or your...
Okay, let me just close that off. Why do we change clocks? And it was all about helping the farmers make the most of the daylight hours and all this nonsense. But have you seen all the bloody farming implements now? All the farm machinery have got floodlights on them. It's like daylight. They don't need to change the clocks.
Yeah.
I don't get it anymore. What's the point? There you go. Rant over.
Are you
done? I do twice a year. Done. Moving on.
Yeah.
So Easter.
Yeah. So I was reading up on it, and they were saying that in early America, the sort of Easter festival was more popular amongst the Catholics than the Protestants when you're talking about the sort of Christian aspect to it.
Yeah.
And but the fortunes of these sort of holidays changed in the 19th century when they became occasions to be spent by one's family. So it's like a family, and I still get that. It's like, you still get the feeling that on Easter and Christmas, it's like a time to get together as a family rather than really about, in some cases.
Thanksgiving for the Americans.
Yeah, Thanksgiving for the Americans, yeah. But so I was reading, they were saying here that like from the 17th century onward, there was an increasing recognition of childhood as a time of life that should be joyous and not simply for preparation for adulthood, right? So this sort of discovery of childhood and so on is that the parents was sort of like doting on the kids, and this is where this whole thing about the Easter eggs and all that kind of stuff started coming up.
So has that tradition started like in the 17th century?
Well, apparently so, yeah.
Okay, it's interesting.
Yeah. And they were saying it was at this point that the sort of like Easter eggs thing and the Easter bunny became a little bit more important. And they would like decorate eggs and all that kind of stuff at the Easter festival.
Yeah.
And that was, again, another symbolism of new life. And I mean, I've never really thought of it, Easter, as that kind of thing. Okay, fine. Growing up as a, Christian sort of thing, yeah, it's the rebirth of Christ and, not rebirth, the death of Christ and rebirth, the resurrection. I'm in a different time zone.
You're in a different
I was,
time
I was
zone.
in
You're like,
I was having a Christmas moment.
It's back. You're most likely on a different planet.
Okay, we're recording this episode on Christmas Day, talking about Easter. No. Why is it so hot in here? The studio lights. Oh, shit. Yeah, anyway, so it's
Somebody
like the
is
symbolism.
pulling amps.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's this whole thing of the symbolism of new life, which is a bit confusing, as you can see, because I was thinking about
symbology.
Symbology. I was, thinking about Christmas as being the new life kind of thing. But anyway.
You're going to get yourself confused, don't you?
I'm so confused at the moment. It's not funny. Yeah. And then this whole rabbit thing with Easter, right? Like, where does it...
Yeah.
Like, you've got the Christians, which is the death of Christ and the resurrection of Christ. The Jews with the Passover. Now you've got Easter eggs. In other words, you're painting eggs,
so the eggs
and
are
chocolates.
the Easter eggs is a reflection of that rebirth, right?
Well,
It's the
apparently,
hatching
apparently.
But
Apparently
when
so.
on earth do bunnies ever get associated with eggs? Where
Well-
did this come from?
Well, the Germans, actually.
Was it the Germans? I thought
Yeah.
it would be the British.
No, it was the Germans.
The Germans.
It was the Germans. Because they were saying that it was a German tradition, was this Easter hare, which is obviously
Okay.
the rabbit, bringing the eggs to the good children.
What the
Right.
hell, man?
What the hell? Yeah.
What?
So apparently these rabbits and hares have had a long association with spring seasonal rituals, right? Because of their amazing powers of fertility.
Okay, but we're talking about children, right?
Well,
Not ability to carry loads of eggs. No, it's about fertility.
yeah.
It's the
So do you think it's got
the
pagan roots?
rabbit season.
Like, do you think because it's the hare, right, or the rabbit, do you think it's got some sort of pagan roots?
I don't know. No, I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, to be fair, they've been around since pagan times.
Yeah,
What, the rabbits?
the rabbits.
The rabbits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would, maybe. Maybe it is. I'm not
Okay,
too
that's
sure.
pretty interesting.
No, I'm just, the only thing I saw was that the Germans had this tradition of the Easter hare.
But it had to come
Bringing
from
it
somewhere, right?
Yeah, I would imagine so. I'll have to Google it.
It's such
Where's-
a random thing.
Yeah. But, I mean, and then the question is, how did that get into sort of like the likes of America and all that kind of stuff? And that's when the German immigrants settled in Pennsylvania in the 18th and the 19th century. And I was wondering, is that where the Pennsylvania Dutch came from? I don't know. Can't be, yeah.
What?
Pennsylvania Dutch. You know what Pennsylvania
No,
Dutch
no
is?
idea.
The Amish people.
Is it?
Yeah.
But
I
I
was
thought
always
the
wondering
Amish
why
people
they-
were like the Dutch or the Flemish.
Maybe the
Because
Dutch also went with the Germans.
It was probably both, because there was also Amish that came from the UK.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
But how
Anyway.
come they also, were Amish in the UK also speaking Dutch or Flemish?
They did, yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
well, they tended to speak the older languages, right?
Yeah.
It's like now, if you go and speak Old Dutch in Netherlands, people would struggle to follow you.
Yeah.
This High
yeah.
Dutch is just a different. It's like what?
But
Nobody
isn't
talks like that anymore.
Afrikaans more similar to Flemish than
Well-
it is to
well-
to Dutch?
Well, Flemish is very close to Dutch.
Yeah, it's a dialect, but like,
Yeah.
isn't Afrikaans like?
Well,
Well, I'll give you an
the common
example. So
name
I
for-
work with Dutch people. I can
Yeah.
understand and follow their conversation. But if I
Right.
speak Afrikaans, they don't follow me.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's probably easier to follow Flemish if you can speak Afrikaans. It's easier to follow Flemish than it is Dutch. And that Flemish would probably understand more Afrikaans than Dutch.
Yeah, sure.
But it's still
sure.
such a mixture of a language. I mean, there's German in there, there's Dutch
Belgium.
in there, there's
Yeah.
There's French in there. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, in South Africa, they called Afrikaans was known as kitchen Dutch. So it was like the colloquial dialect of Dutch.
So do you think like with Afrikaans, right? It stayed where it was like 2 centuries ago, or whatever, and the Dutch language itself actually evolved.
I don't know.
Well, I think all languages evolve.
Yeah,
I mean, look at
yeah.
Shakespeare. We don't talk like that anymore.
Yeah.
We should.
And the
That's not
Americans
how-
don't
we should.
speak
It
like
would
the
be-
UK.
It would be so cool.
But I mean, even
I shall not.
mess around. Yeah.
Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Is this a dagger I see before me? Is this an AK-47 I see in front of me? That's not much in it.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
Okay, let's go back to Easter. I think we digressed.
Yeah, no, I
How
think
did
we.
we digress from Easter to
I don't know. We
to
were talking about
original
Pennsylvania Dutch.
Pennsylvania Dutch?
Well, you know, I'm curious now. Pennsylvania.
You got to remember, it wasn't just the settlers in the US. There were a lot of missions that went out west.
Ah,
So-
check here. Yeah. We digress, but this is an interesting story. So they say
Is it
here
rabbits?
that no, it's the Pennsylvania Dutch history and their way of life. So the Pennsylvania Dutch, also known as Pennsylvania Germans
Yeah.
or Pennsylvania Deutsche. So that's where the Pennsylvania
Deutsch.
Dutch came from. Yeah.
Deutsch.
Yeah. Are descendants of the early German immigrants to Pennsylvania. So it was the Germans that have now, yeah. Well, that's interesting. So they arrived in the 1800s to escape the religious persecution in Europe.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And they brought the Easter rabbit with them. The
Well,
Easter
on the
egg.
boat. They didn't
Possibly.
have chocolate Easter
So-
eggs in those days. It was
So-
forbidden by the church.
Probably still is.
Just a question, right?
Yeah.
So, like, would the East Pennsylvania Dutch, descendants would go on to become like Amish people, like we know them now,
Yeah.
or they're a completely different like group? to
No.
Amish?
Let me just see. Well, geez, we're learning so much on the episode today.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you. Did you spell Pennsylvania right when you put it in Google?
It finished it for me.
He's like, hey Google.
Yeah. Be careful now. So it says here the Amish, also known as the Pennsylvania Germans,
Okay.
are a group of traditional Christian church fellowships with Swiss, German, and whatever that is origins. Yeah. And
So I was starting to say that there was a lot of missions that went out west. You know, a bit after the settlements, but there were those that went out west. So there was actually a big line of mission stations, and those turned into the towns that we know today. So that the west was largely controlled by mission stations.
Are you talking
So
about
Las
West
Vegas
Coast
was one
or
of them.
like-
So
or
Las
you-
Vegas is actually a missionary town,
Wow.
and German
is.
is still spoken in some of these towns. So if you go
Yeah.
across Nevada, those largest towns, which are now hubs for casinos and such, those were originally German mission stations.
wow. So I was just
That's pretty
checking here
interesting.
to see do the Amish celebrate Easter? So they say that Easter is an important church holiday for the Amish. Yeah. No, I was just wondering, like you could just imagine that all of a sudden they didn't celebrate Easter, but they do. They do. Anyway, I digress. So you were talking about all the towns that they're in. So they say, so what they're saying here, Holmes County in Ohio, first, right? And then Southern Michigan, in Somerset County in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Okay. And there's your history lesson for today, boys.
Okay, that's it. Let's
Girls
talk
and
about
boys.
some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So Lester,
Yeah.
do you feel sorry for the captain of that ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal?
I'm starting to think there's some conspiracy going on. I mean, who Okay, I mean, firstly, how did it happen? Because
Do you think it was a freak
it's a
accident?
narrow canal, right? And these are big tankers. And
Huge.
is there a history where people go, I'm just going to do a quick U-turn here, and yeah, because we've made it before, we'll make it again. And yeah, every time we take a sharp intake of breath, oh, that was close, and we make it, and then it's fine. And then this is the one time that we didn't get it right, or it was deliberate, because during COVID times, perhaps, and now here comes the conspiracy theory. Pay attention, girls and boys. If you block the Suez Canal, it affects the oil price.
Yeah.
It drives the oil price up because the supply chain is affected. And during COVID times, when people were driving around less because of lockdown, there was less demand for oil, and it had an impact on that industry. So was this a little easy, deliberate thing to do, just to get the oil companies or the oil barons, get them to get stability in their industry?
But it's temporary, right? Because eventually, they will dig up
but
that ship.
it didn't cost anything to do it, right? It'll pay off
Yeah.
to the captain, maybe.
Yeah, but
Theoretically.
the captain is in trouble because I mean, if the canal loses 2 weeks worth of traffic, right?
Yeah.
They make about $10 billion a day in terms of value of goods that basically are shipped across the canal every day. So that's 10 billion worth of goods that were delayed. Multiply that by 2 weeks, it's looking at a substantial amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine the captain's already ducked.
Or he's been taken out, or what? Not? He's done.
No.
He's running for his life.
But
or what?
I'm pretty I would assume it's a
Swimming.
it's an claim political asylum in Egypt.
That's crazy. Yeah, dude. I mean, you forget that that's such an important sort of passage
Yeah.
for the ships, because I mean, the alternative is what? If you don't go through the Suez Canal?
You go around Africa.
Yeah.
But that's really good for Cape Town. Did you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
did you guys see that image of the traffic, of the ship traffic that's going around the west coast of Africa to Cape Town and then into the Indian Ocean? It's really impressive.
Must be crazy.
Yeah.
Is he frozen?
No.
Is he thinking?
No, not frozen.
No.
He blinked. Yeah. So, I wonder what that does for sort of the port down in Cape Town or Durban or whatever.
Those guys
All
are
these
busy.
stopping there for what? I don't know, replenish supplies or
Yeah.
drop off some shit, or I don't know what the story is. That's yeah.
So is there now like a parking jam, traffic jam in the Mediterranean?
Yeah. So
This has been it's going like this for a while. So
there's 300 ships on either side stacked, but the rest of the ships obviously have already, the ones that left the
Diverted.
port, diverted to go around the Atlantic and then Indian Ocean, so around the African coast, which is really good for South Africa. It's because
yeah, but I mean,
every one of those ships will make a pit stop in Cape Town,
well, maybe.
even if it's just for a short bathroom break.
There's yeah, but I mean, if you look at those ships, right? They don't just take one load from port A to port B.
Yeah.
Their load is synchronized on a. They bounce around all ports all over the place, offload, onload constantly.
Yeah.
So just because they're stuck in them, they can't easily reroute because their whole load is stacked based on the sequence of loading and offloading that they got ahead of them.
Yeah. But if the ships basically, if most of the cargo is destined to, for example, say Southeast Asia from Europe, right? And I think that's where most of the traffic actually comes from, or from, the Middle Eastern countries that have access to Mediterranean, or from the Red Sea. It doesn't really matter because you can still go out and basically deliver goods all over Southeast Asia, right?
Why has this not happened before, or has it that we just don't know about it, or
Because
even the Suez Canal?
we've been building bigger and bigger and bigger cargo ships like every year. Like the size of the cargo ships is really impressive. I mean, that cargo ship that got jammed up at the canal is literally 400 meters long. Like
Shut.
it's
Yeah, yeah,
taller
yeah.
than an Empire State Building. It's like that's how big that ship is, and
Yeah.
that canal was built in a different era. I mean, I think. Can you check when was
The
Suez
Suez
Canal
Canal.
built? I think it
Yeah.
was
It
built in the
was
60s or
the 50s, I think.
What am I doing? Suez Canal. Suez
Canal.
Canal. And I could spell that correctly. I didn't
Yeah.
need Google to help me. Okay.
Yeah,
So
what
when
canal?
was it built?
Built in
Which
which
year?
year? 1859.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
When was the Suez Canal built and by whom? French diplomat Ferdinand somebody or other won a license to create the Suez Canal Company from the Viceroy of Egypt. Yeah. In the
Construction
1850s. Construction began in 1859, with shares in the company selling mostly to French buyers. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. So just to reiterate the point, it was built in a different era.
This is, yes.
So I'm sure
It
they're
must have
like
been. It must have been. Or was that? I'm just trying to think. What the Suez Canal crisis, which was the 50s,
yeah. That was
and
the
there was a lot
50s.
of wars and land grabbing and people trying to settle down after the Second World War. So were they not reinforcing that canal at that time?
I think that canal went through like can you check on Google how many like expansion stages did it go through? Because I'm pretty sure it was expanded.
Yeah. And now they're doing another one at the moment.
Yeah.
What? So you can have dual carriageway.
Well, it says here Egypt launches Suez Canal expansion, and
That's
this
in
was back in
2015.
2015. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the ship still blocking the Suez Canal? Yeah.
Well, considering it's now Easter weekend,
Yeah.
it's been there over a week.
Let's just see if they've got a history on here. Benefits. 7 new tunnels, floating bridge, technology valley, industrial zone, fish farming, Russian industrial zone, developing existing ports.
And it's not that long. It's like 35 kilometers long.
Jeez. But
Yeah, it's
still,
just
I
so
mean,
narrow though.
Yeah, it is
And-
narrow.
I mean, the ships pass each other. If there's now sandbanks emerging and they're not being dredged on a regular basis, that channel just is like a river then.
Yeah. And it gets silted up quite quickly. So that's why that like there's most likely over 100 meters of that ship stuck on basically a sandbank on one side, because
Yeah.
that canal is also not symmetrical. It's not like it's deep in the center and then shallow on the sides. I think it's basically shallow on one side and deeper on the other side.
Well, naturally, the turbulence from the ships that go through there is going to have an effect on the silt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, it's saying here that the Suez Canal is only about 200 meters wide. So there's
Yeah.
no ways you'd be able to turn a 400-meter ship around.
No.
Never. Turn around.
So
Reverse.
So if it's 200 meters wide, right, you kind of have two ships passing each other. So that means that you can only have traffic one way.
Depends on the size of the ship.
Yeah, they say that there's so much information about this thing. What is the depth of the Suez Canal? 24 meters.
Jesus. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Jeez. Oh, well.
So this is going to happen again. So talk me through some of the other options. You're saying Egypt's going to do something?
well,
Bridges and tunnels.
No, I was just looking at all the.
I mean, look how big that ship is. Look how big that ship is.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and
There's
look,
no
this
way it was
picture
gonna
is
turn
taken
around.
from another ship, right? This video is taken from another ship that's almost as big as that ship that's standing right behind it. I mean,
It's crazy.
and then most likely another 50 ships behind that ship.
So you think everyone's going to now reverse up the canal?
Well, you can't.
Well, you just keep doing flag messages, going, turn back, reverse, tell the guy behind you, and he can tell the guy behind him. Bush telegraph.
I mean, look how many ships are stuck in there.
Jeez. It's crazy. Yeah. Someone's in shit.
Well, listen, one thing for sure is I'd hate to be the captain of that ship right now. I feel sorry for the guy, you know.
I would have resigned by now and then go, I'm not the captain.
Captain?
Captain? Oh, he was
It
here
wasn't
last
me.
week, but he's gone now.
It wasn't me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, seeing that it's Easter weekend, we thought we would have a short one this week. So.
Well, do you want to know what National Day it is?
Yes,
Absolutely.
please do. Tell us what it is.
As it's Easter, I won't do the obvious.
Surprise.
National Find a Rainbow Day. So I don't quite get this. So you can dispatch your kids to go and find the end of the rainbow. You may never see them again.
Yeah. That's a real possibility.
So is it the fact that because it's like spring that you'd be able to see rainbows now in the northern hemisphere? Whichever, well, I don't know. How does
Well,
it
no,
work?
we see them all the time because
We
it's
see them
raining all the time.
Yeah.
World Party Day is today. So the whole world's supposed to party. Woo!
Yeah,
Yeah! Unless you're the
As we
captain of some
enter-
stricken vessel.
As we enter the third wave, right?
Yeah.
I always say there's food and drink stuff in this.
Yes.
I don't really want to talk about the food and drink, but today is National Fish Fingers and Custard Day.
You can have
Like together.
together.
What? Wait, what? Yes, I've never heard of this.
Fish fingers
And maybe
custard.
that's why it gets its day. It's like, maybe this is going to blow my mind. I've never tried this, and maybe this is the perfect mix of flavor and textures.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't knock it till I've tried it, and that's why it's National Fish Fingers and Custard Day.
You're giving Andrew ideas. Can you imagine,
No.
like, if he gets
Yeah, exactly.
some fish fingers and custard?
I'm just trying to keep my cookies down. Yeah, no, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't picture that. I can't picture
It
that.
doesn't look pretty. I'll give you that. It looks like someone's thrown up all over a plate.
It's even worse.
Okay. So it's National Tweed Day.
Yeah,
So
I see you wearing your tweed.
Yeah.
Well spotted,
I
Nige.
thought you were talking about National Tweet Day, like, you know,
Tweet.
you have to tweet.
Tweets.
Oh, like in. Oh no, there is a National Tweet Day as well, but that's not this weekend. Okay, and then it's International Pillow Fight Day.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
I was thinking,
Start a pillow fight with your neighbors
exactly, just go down to town, go through the shopping mall, and
and
just
just wake people
occasionally
with a
stroll
pillow.
up down the escalator and just go, "Bah!" And then you can go, now, happy Pillow Fight Day, woo!
Yeah, I'd love
I
to
think
know.
you get away with it.
I don't know, hey. I think
in
some
order
people are cranky.
I think in order for you to get away with it, you need to be younger, and you have to have a disclaimer from
What are you trying to say?
a medical practitioner saying that you are sane.
That I'm young and sane. But there are groups that follow this, right? They do
Yeah.
organize turn-ups, flash mobs, whether it's flash mob pillow fights.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I
and that's
suppose
something
as long as they all in on the flash mob.
On the flash mob, yeah.
I mean, if you start getting people that are not in on the joke involved,
well, then they need to brush up on their international days. It's their own
well,
fault.
then they must listen to the podcast.
If they listened to
Absolutely.
this podcast this morning,
They would know.
Or
They would have
afternoon,
known.
then they would know.
Yeah.
There's a gig happening.
Yes. Exactly.
All right. And the
And on
last
that
thing,
happy
if
note.
those float your boat, it is also Firewalk Day. Get your shoes off.
Do people still do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like the last time I saw it was like some yogi walking on fire and coals, right? Like
Yeah,
some
they
hot
do.
coals.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No,
do
I
you
don't
guys
know.
have you not done that as a team building exercise at your place of work?
No.
No.
It breaks about pretty much all the safety regulations.
Health and safety.
Exactly. Saved by that, yeah. Well, I should have, yeah. That time that we did that team building thing where we had to
Oh,
climb
that was
up
so
the,
awesome. That
the
was
poles.
so awesome.
I should have said no. I'm sorry, guys. You're not allowed to do this. This is an unsafe act.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what your
Next
company
time.
training's taught you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're such a team player.
But I give kudos to Andrew. He actually walked across the beam that was suspended 10 meters above surface, right? So it was
I think
like a wooden beam suspended 10 meters above ground, right? He obviously had like a backup protection, like in terms of like a harness and stuff like that.
Yeah, bang on. Whoa. If he's done that, then what's the difference between that and the bungee jump from the tower?
Well, pretty much nothing. It's just maybe like 10 times higher, but like
It's the same thing.
it's the same thing pretty much. 10
You-
meters or 100 meters, it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
you're all above ground and
Yeah.
psychologically, same thing.
No. Sorry. Next.
And he was so hyped when he did it. Like I could see on his facial expression. He was happy and he was
Did he
almost
high
clapping.
five himself at the end?
Yeah, no.
I was telling him from the bottom, I was like, Andrew, you're doing so well, go for it. And like, the
Like,
whole
don't
cheerlead-
talk to me. I'm concentrating.
And he's like, nobody talks to me. I'm like,
But the other problem was that there were 3 Andrews doing the same thing, and the other people are cheering the other Andrews on, and I'm saying, shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me. Anyway. Right, guys.
on that happy note,
We'll catch you next week.
Episode done.
enjoy.
Episode done.
Enjoy the rest of your long weekend.
Have
Thank
an
you.
awesome weekend. Have an
Enjoy
awesome
enjoy those
weekend.
Easter eggs.
Oh, yeah.
And bunnies.
I have to go and buy another box.
Well, you can get them on special, apparently.
Well, it's last year's leftover Easter eggs. I'm surprised.
Cool, guys. Cheers.
All right, guys.
Cheers.
Until the next
Cheerio.
time.
Until next Easter. Maybe not.